All right, coming at you with another quick hit. Lord willing this to be edifying. We're going to go to Timothy's, 2 Timothy's 2 and 14. And the headline, when you go into the letter lexicon, it says, unashamed workman. Key thing, unashamed workman. Start off at 2 Timothy's 2 and 14. Okay. Of these things put in remembrance, charging them before the Lord Yahushua that they strive, not about with words to no profit, of no meaning, just empty words, babble. Okay. But to the subverting of the hearers. So, why does it say subverting of the hearers? So the hearers may be subverted. Their minds could be subverted to the truth. And when you go to that word, subverted, of the extinction of a spirit of consecration, right? Or what's they call apostasy. But you have those that were trying to subvert the minds of the believers. Okay? That's why it says words to no profit. That's why everything we teach has to be within the scriptures. Verse 15. Check this out. Right? Check this out. Study to show thyself approved. So you would need to study, right? If you want to be approved. Go into this word study. See what comes up. Study is spodedazo.
Strong's G 4704. Spudadzo.
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 Spudadzo. So it says spudadzo. To hasten, to make haste. To exert oneself. To endeavour, to give diligence, to use speed, to make an effort, to prompt to earnest diligence. So, how could you be better within this truth if you're not studying? Right? And that's why I'm saying, don't worry about Satan. Satan's doing what Satan's supposed to do, trying to distract you. Don't worry about the noise campaigns. That's just Satan. Right? Remember, they are under orders under Satan. Right? Read that again. Outline biblical usage. To hasten, to make haste. Whenever you have the opportunity to push this word out, push it out straight away. To exert oneself. So we exert ourselves into the truth. Endeavour, give diligence. And the scripture says, give diligence to make the call and election sure. Excuse me just a minute. See if we can find it. In Peter's where it says, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. If you do these things, you shall never fall. Well, I paraphrased it anyway. So we give diligence to make our calling and election because we don't know if you're of the elect. Right? So you exert oneself to study. You're exerting. You're putting time in. When I first woke up to this truth, bro, I'm not making it up. Sometimes it was 2 hours or 3 hours studying. I don't study for that long anymore because you become what's the word? You become more mature, spiritually mature. But in terms of studying, you still need to take time out to study. Okay? Study to show thyself approved. Now we're going to go into that word approved and see what comes up. Approved is dokimos.
Strong's G 1384. Dokimos.
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 Dokimos. In the Greek, accepted, particularly of coins and money, accepted, pleasing, acceptable. So we want to be deemed as acceptable what we're doing. Remember what the scripture says in Romans 12, I beseech you therefore, brethren, that you offer your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, which is your reasonable service. So it has to be acceptable. Right? And that word for example is dokimos. Dokimos. Okay? Which goes back to the money changers back then were men of integrity who would not accept no counterfeit money. They were men of honor who were put only genuine full weight money into the circulation. Such men were called dokimos. Okay? And this word is used here for the Christian as here is to be seen by the world. Right? So we want to be accepted and approved unto Yahweh Yahushua. Remember, you're not doing this to be approved in the sight of men. A workman. A workman. Oh, what are you doing with yourself? It's just a workman. Go into this word workman.
Strong's G 2040. Ergates.
Agatis.
Ergates.
Agatis. This is in the Greek. Workman, worker, labourer. A workman, labourer. Usually one who works for hire, especially agriculture worker. One who does a work. This is perpetrator, a toiler, a teacher, a labourer, a worker. Right? And what did Yahushua say? I think it's Matthew 9 chapter. Pray therefore that the Lord send more labourers. This is the true labour. Right? Oh, you can be a contractor in your spare time, but this is the true labour. And now we've entered the contract with Yahushua. This is an oath. This is the real contract. Okay. And it says, Babakashah, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, because now you've studied. When someone comes up to you, at least you could be more suitable to give that man an answer according to the scriptures, rather than he asks you all these questions you don't know, or he knows what you should already know. And it's not that we're going to know everything, but we should have a basic understanding of certain scriptures, rightly dividing the words of truth. So we also have to divide this word. When I first read the Bible, I thought I could just read it in chapter after chapter. You divide the words. And when you go into that word divide,
Strong's G 3718.
Arthatameo. Arthatameo. That's in the Greek. To cut straight ways, to proceed on straight paths, hold straight course. To teach the truth directly and correctly. To make straight and smooth the handle aright. To teach the truth directly and correctly. So that's when it says you divide the word. So a lot of people say, hold on a minute. Why are you jumping from here to here? Why don't you just read the whole chapter? Because how do you really get the full understanding of the scriptures? First, Yahushua has to give it to you. But secondly, if you're dividing it, I think it's in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah to get a better understanding. Okay, stay with me now. Stay with me. This is Isaiah 28 and 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk. So we start off first drinking that breast milk, that titty milk, right? And that's what nourishes us. And drawn from the breast. So we got to be drawn from the breast, just like a baby. And that's how we get built up. For precept must be upon precept. What's the precept? The precept is the law, the statutes, the commandments. Proverbs, there's precepts. I'm reading Isaiah. These are precepts, right? Precept upon precept. Right? Precept upon precept, line upon line. Okay. Here a little, there a little. That's why we jump from place to place. Because some people may say, well, why are you reading the Bible? Because that's how you get the understanding of it. Because there's something that's in Proverbs that may link up with something in Revelations. There's something in Psalms that may link up with something in Thessalonians. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how you read the scriptures and get a better understanding, because it all links up. Okay. Here a little, there a little, that they might be go and fall back and be broken, snared, and taken. A lot of our people are going to fall back at these words, be broken and snared and taken. Those that don't understand this truth. Scripture says, let their own table be a stumbling block to them. So that's how you truly read the scriptures and get an understanding. Now, in your spare time, can you read, in my spare time, you know what I do? I go through the chapters, because once you learn the precepts, it gives you a wider understanding when you actually read the whole Bible. But how do you break it down? You go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. And that's how you fully get the understanding. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay? But shun profane and vain babblings. So this is what we don't want to do. Shun profane and vain babblings. Go into this word, vain babbling. Is kenophinia. It says empty discussion of vain and useless matters. Alright. empty sounding, fruitless discussion. So we want to keep the main thing, and make sure there's substance to what we're speaking. I hope this is edifying, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. So the more you speak your own mind, the more it can increase the ungodliness, and you're going to end up saying something you shouldn't be saying. Okay, so we went to that. Is there anything else? One more thing, the Church of Berea. Because you had a Church of Berea, I think it was, where was it? Macedonia. And you had some noble men that would actually look up. They wouldn't just take our word for it. This ain't about being a mockingbird. That's it. Ain't about being a mockingbird. You have to look up things for yourself. See if we can find it. I know with some of them in Acts. Acts 7. See if I can put Acts 17. Found it. This is Acts 17. And we're going to jump to Acts 17 and 11. Right. Go to verse, 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica. Noble. They lived in noble households. And they were more disciplined as well. Okay. And these were Israelites, by the way. I'm just trying to get this particular scripture up. Noble. These were more noble. Noble, well born, of a noble family. Noble minded. Literally of high rank. So you could be of a noble background, a well off family, and still be in the truth. Okay. These were what? Noble than those in Thessalonica. Right? Because you had the poor in Thessalonica as well. And that they received the word with all readiness of mind. All readiness of mind. So there was a humility there. Right? They were humble and they were willing to learn. That's why it says with all readiness of mind. They were apt to learn new things. Check this out. When you go into this word, readiness of mind, zeal, spirit, eagerness, inclination, ready of mind, willing. Right? And it says, and receive the word with all readiness of mind and search the scriptures daily. Daily. They were searching the scriptures daily. Right? And go into this word, searched. It's acronino. To examine, to judge, to investigate, to examine, to inquire, to scrutinize, to shift. Specifically in a forensic sense of a judge to hold an investigation, to interrogate, examine of accused witnesses, to judge, estimate, determine excellence or defects of any person. So all these things were done through the scriptures. They were seeing if Paul was saying was correct through the scriptures. They were examining. And the scriptures do say, seek and you shall find. In what? Matthews. Ask and you shall receive. So they searched the scriptures daily. It was a daily thing. Everything that was being taught to the church of Thessalonica, they were looking it up. Whether those things were so. Therefore, many of them believed also of honorable women. Yes, you also had women that were in the truth. Yeah, there's elect women out there, if you didn't know that. That listen and watch and that are humble. And you don't even know they're listening and watching. Which were Greeks. The reason it says which were Greeks, because they were following Greek customs. They were born in Greece. But these were Israelites. And of men, not a few. But when the Jews of Thessalonica acknowledged that the word of the Most High was preached at Port Berea, they came therefore also and stirred up the people. We're going to shut off. This is basically something else. When it says they stirred up the people, these were wicked. And these same individuals are back here again today. They stirred up the people. What were they trying to do? Have people on an uproar. These are people that were these were Israelites that were manipulative. Motion produced by winds, to shake, to overthrow, to move, to agitate the mind, to cast someone to disturb one. So these were wicked Israelites. And you've always had them. Right? Because they were envious at, the Israelite foreigners waking up to the truth. They were envious at that. Okay, they were real envious. So I think this is pretty much it. But this is why we study the scriptures to show themselves approved. I think there's one more scripture I want to get. One more scripture. What I'm thinking about. It says studied, that scripture where it says study to be quiet. Study to be quiet. Somewhere in Thessalonians. Study to be quiet. Ah, man. I can't find it. If I can't find it, we just shut off. But pretty much got the point out anyway. Can't find it. But the scripture says study to be quiet. See if I can find it in Thessalonians. And this, by the way, this is the real in the ancient days, this is what was being taught, the Bible. This is what was being taught in your school system. Because this deals with every way of life, every single way of life. I can't find the scripture, but I know it was in Thessalonians. Study just to be quiet. So in other words, you're not proud of what you're doing. All right, you're studying. All right, and you're studying for yourself. All right, so you could be a better teacher. Okay, so pretty much this was the main point. I really hope this was edifying, and whoever received this, that's beautiful. So until the next time, I'm going to shut up here, and shalom to the hopeful elect that are across the globe. Shalom.